Hare Krishna. So this is a video where I'm going to demonstrate the proper finger technique and the hand position that you want to have when playing Mridanga and when practicing. It's very important, especially when you start out, to really focus on your hand position so that you build good habits, and then later on it will help you playing faster, playing longer, playing without pain, and just overall the quality of the sound will improve, your endurance will improve. So this is a very, very important thing to do. That's why when you're starting out and learning any mantra, you want to start by playing it very slowly and just focusing on the hand position and the technique. So the first sound that you're going to learn when learning Mridanga is a closed sound. So you can have two sounds on either side. You can either have an open sound or a closed sound. So the open sound, the fingers bounce off and you're mainly hitting the rim. And then closed sounds is where you're pressing the fingertips in. And it's the same principle on the big side. I'll show you that in a couple minutes. But the first sound that you learn is a closed sound. You're pressing your fingertips into the center of the drum head. The middle finger will be right in the center. And for most people, depending on the size of your hand, for most people, the bottom of the finger, of each finger, will be touching or hitting the rim over here. So it's going to be like this. And this sound often goes with the word te, or sometimes you might say da in the case of Hatsara number 6, or you might say even ta in the case. But generally it's te. Te, that's the closed sound. And this you will learn in the first Hatsara mantra, te re kita. The second sound that you're going to learn is re. And re is played with the end part of the thumb. And you don't want to be hitting the bottom part, like you don't want to be hitting the rim with your thumb. You want to be hitting the center. Right in the center. And it's not going to be as loud as the other beats. But as you practice, it will get a little bit louder, and then when you play the mantra, you will definitely hear the sound. But don't be frustrated if it's not very loud in the beginning. So, re goes right in the center like this, and you'll turn your hand when you're playing the re. Re, 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 re. So, with Hatsara number 1, it would be te, re. Te, re. And this is something that you can practice. And now, when you start it out, slowly, it will be played closed. The re will be played closed, but as you speed up the mantra, it will start to become an open sound. So in the beginning, you play it closed, you press the thumb in, but then as you speed it up, with te re kita, it will speed up. And it will be played open. So te re kita, 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 te re kita. And then at this point, it will start to become an open sound. So, open sound when you go fast. Now, you were hearing te re kita. The ta is the open sound. And the way you play it is you're actually mainly hitting the rim, and your fingers are just bouncing. So, sometimes what I show students, they have trouble. They always go like this, and they're trying to do an open sound like this. What you can do is you can just try hitting the rim without even hitting the drum head. And then all you have to do is relax your fingers enough, and they will automatically bounce. See, if they're stiff, they won't touch. But then if I relax enough, it bounces off. So, in a mantra, it would be te re ke ta. Te re ke ta. And then afterwards, you'll learn many other mantras where you use the open sound. Okay, so now after we've learned that, we will move on to the big side. So in the case of Hatsada number 1, the closed sound, the word you will use, the bowl, will be K. K-H-E. K. And you will play it with the end of the metacarpal bone of the middle finger. So right over here, that will be placed in the center of the drum head, right over here. K, K, K. So most of the force is on this part of the hand. Most of the force is on this part of the hand, and the fingers will be also pressing into the mridanga. So it's not like this. It's not that the fingers are coming up, but the fingers are pressing down. And it's almost like the sound of a balloon that's popping. That's what I often tell children when I teach them. It's like a balloon being popped. And you don't want to hit the base of your hand against the drum head, because if you do that, it's going to create a different sound. It's going to have more of a bounce in it, which you don't really play that often. So it's not going to make a clear sound. So you want to have just the end of the metacarpal bones, that's the base of the finger right here, and the fingers. K, K, K. Now you will see other people, they do different styles. Like if you watch Madhava Prabhu play, sometimes he does it like this, but sometimes you'll see him do it with his fingertips like that. Now that's just for an effect. You can create different sounds, or maybe if your hand is hurting here, you can use your fingertips. And then later you might hear other ways of playing the close sound like this, or bhajan style like this, or even like this. That's advanced stuff. So you don't want to worry about that in the beginning. You want to focus just on this, the first style, the traditional way to play the close sound. Now, the next sound that you're going to learn after the close, the K, is an open sound. So the closed sound, before I move to the open sound, the few other words that you can use for the closed sound on the big side would be K, that's the first key, and then sometimes you might hear ko or ka, but the main one is K. That's the main one. So now the open sound. Now this is probably the most common mistake that I see, is people will play, because you play the K here, so they'll just move the hand back a bit and play the open sound here. Now, you're not going to get a very good sound if you play it over here. So you can play it like this, with this part of your hand, right there. And then, maybe it doesn't hurt for you, but then you get like this bouncy sound. It's not a very clear sound. The ideal position is to play it up here. So the rim, here, the gajra, the rim, will be hitting right on this part of the hand. So from the metacarpal bone, end of the metacarpal of the index finger, which is the strongest one of all these, right here, and then you could say the karate chop point. That's what's going to be hitting the rim, like that. And the index finger is really on top of the mridanga. It's not like touching the brown part. It's on top of the mridanga like that. Now, depending on your position, when you're sitting down, your hand is more horizontal. When you stand up, because the angle of the mridanga is close in and it's lower down, so your hand will be more forward if you're standing. But when you're sitting, the hand is close to horizontal. You have a slight angle in the wrist. So that's true for both sides. You usually have a slight angle in the wrist. If you look at the range of motion of the wrist, the ulnar deviation is much greater than the radial deviation upward. So if you want to get right in the middle, that's kind of like almost the neutral position of your hand. It's in between the end ranges of motion. And the advantage of this is that, number one, it's going to be comfortable, but number two, you can use rotation of your hand in order to play. So on the big side, we can use rotation to make the close sound, and same thing for the open sound. You can use that rotation of your hands. And so it becomes easier. You can play fast very easily if you use that rotation of the hands. notation that's going to help you play fast without using a lot of energy. So we have the closed sound K, and again the open sound Ge, Ge, Ge. And this open sound you will learn in Hatsara number 5. So that would be Te Re Gina, Te Re Gina, Te Re Gina, Te Re Ge. So you learn the open sound and the closed sound. Now we're going to go back to the small side. So these are the basic techniques, the basic finger positions, hand positions for the Hatsara mantras, Hasta Sadhana, hand practice mantras, and also for Hatati mantras. The next thing that we're going to learn is more used in Kirtan style. You will learn how to play with 3 fingers and with your index finger. So the first thing we're going to do is learn how to play with the index finger. This is going to be introduced in the first Kirtan mantra that you will learn, Keharvatal, or otherwise known as Kaharvatal. So you're going to play with your index finger. It's going to be an open sound, like this. And you can say ta, or you can say na. So the tip of the finger is hitting right in the center. And for most people, depending on the length of your finger, for most people, the bottom portion of the finger will be hitting on the rim, right here. So it's not the knuckle, it's not this part, but it's right there. And that's a comfortable position of the finger to be striking on the rim. And the other fingers, the other 3 fingers, will kind of be moving away, so it's almost like a whipping action of the finger. And this will be used in the Kirtan mantra, Dhagi Te Te Dhage Dina. Now, the next thing that you might have seen in that mantra is that you use 3 fingers. And in the case of this mantra, you will play the 3 fingers closed. So again, you can have open sounds, closed sounds, and then open sound or closed sound. So in the first Kirtan mantra you learn, you will be playing a closed sound with 3 fingers. The tips of the fingers will be in the center. A common pitfall would be to play the index finger on the top and the 3 fingers on the bottom, because maybe it's a little faster and easier. But you want to hit the center, because when you get the center, you get the maximum amount of vibration from your drum head, and so you'll get the maximum volume with the least amount of effort. So index finger, 3 fingers. Now with this Kirtan mantra, Dha Gi Te Te Da Ge Dina. Da Gi Te Te Da Ge Dina. Da Gi Te Te Da Ge Dina. Tere kita ja, tere kita ja, tere kita da Gi Te Te Da Ge Dina. Now later on, you'll learn how to play like all the fingers closed. For example, in Daspahira number 2, you go ki kine da gi da gi da te da da te 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 da. So there, te 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 da. We have it closed and then open, and then you can have all the fingers open. For example, in Kaharva Lohara, and this is an easy variation, you go da, kinagadin, da, kinagadin, and then you can make it a little more advanced by adding a flick. Da, kinagadin, da, kinagadin, da, kinagadin, da, kinagadin, da. So you're playing it open. So again, with this Kirtan mantra, da, kinagadin, da. So you might have noticed in the case of this mantra, I'm actually not going all the way in the center. So that is a different style, more for bhajan style or maybe advanced mantras. It creates a slightly different sound. But in the beginning, you want to be going in the center, right in the center. So I'll do this mantra again, but with the tips of my fingers in the center. Da. Okay, thank you very much. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you have any requests for future videos, please let us know what you would like to see. All right, I hope you found this helpful. Thank you. Hare Krishna.